What do I'm 41. Say to my wife 40 when she says she's a screw up and ... I'm starting to agree. The title is more aggressive than I wanted to come off, but here's where I am at. She works full-time as a teacher and is also taking a full course load of night school for a career change, and additionally will take on extra side jobs editing her colleagues' work and things. We are constantly busy as hell, and since COVID both working from home and home schooling our teenage kids a decision I supported for safety reasons. I tried to work 9 to 5, but with kids home and the issues outlined below, I know I am putting in a work day my supervisors would not be thrilled. My wife makes bad decisions in micro, skipping multiple meals in a row during final exams, picking fights with our teenage kids that are totally pointless, and in macro, taking on way too much work, distracting herself with task upon task that doesn't help any of us. She ignores the advice of her parents/friends when it comes to how she takes on too much. I feel the micro decisions are a result of her being exhausted from 16-hour days, 7 days a week, as a result of the macro ones. When she's not working/studying, she gets another side job where she obsesses over Facebook Marketplace/web shopping and will bring home like 2nd or 3rd copies of furniture we already have, and then decide she hates it all and throws it out/results. She will go and get takeout and take twice as long as expected, and then I'll find a new table in our back. She'll order clothing 5 or 6 articles at a time and then not open the box, then try to return them out of the return window and be refused, and this happens multiple times a year. She honestly is such a busybody with these ultimately tasks that don't add up to anything and is so unavailable to me/us and married to her phone that if somebody was to tell me she had some other double life/boyfriend/career, I would not even be a little surprised. Of course, she is an adult and entitled to her decisions/activities/hobbies, but now I am at the point of begging her/making ultimatums, starting about a year ago, for her to slow down and pay attention to the people around her, and she'll promise to do so, and then a new semester will roll around and she'll actually be signed up for more side jobs and courses. I am incredibly resentful of this and how for so much of the week/weekend she is busy, and I feel like a solo parent. But when it comes up in arguments, her response is always, well, it won't always be this way. Next year it'll be different, etc., etc. When we argue about this, she invariably cries, and I am feeling less and less sorry for her. It sucks hard to say that I want to be on her team. I really do. She will full-on ball crying for 10 straight minutes in the middle of any given work day or weekend, and the kids are really justifiably asking questions, and I honestly don't even know what to tell them that wouldn't just be me unproductively venting. Something I am really careful not to do. I feel like her promises to slow down are lies. When push comes to shove in a fight, she will say, "You just think I'm a screw-up." And like a sorry, I'm sorry, and I know she's looking for reassurance. And after multiple years of this, I am finding it impossible to give it no tune. I'd add our children are currently both diagnosed with ARD and placed on the spectrum, with school support, etc. I don't want to diagnose my wife, I am not a doctor, but when we talk about the kids' symptoms, distracted, poor memory, obsessive behaviors, I find it impossible not to notice she exhibits the same behavior. Note 2. We've been to couples therapy with 4 different doctors. They all failed to meet some criteria for my wife, and we stopped going after 4 or 5 sessions. The last 2 both suggested she seek individual therapy, which she promises me she'll do, then doesn't, or goes 1 week and never again. There's always some reason she can't, and it's another thing I feel just awful having to fight her on. I'm so tired of trying to keep up, and I feel no sympathy anymore. Too long, don't read. Wife can't turn down work, and we're honestly fine for money even during COVID, thank God, and is chronically exhausted despite loved ones/my advice makes habitual and avoidable mistakes, constantly distracted with making purchases. She cries for long periods, and after years of this I am struggling to be sympathetic, and I'd like to be, but I'd also like all these behaviors to stop. The kids are noticing all of this. Minor update. She saw me closing a Reddit tab and confronted me, saying, What are you hiding from me? I told her, pretty upset with her anger level, that I was seeking outside advice because I don't know what to do anymore, and now she's very laser-focused on what people are saying and thinking, and they're telling you how mean you are. Or so. Honestly, I feel like laughing. This avoidance of the actual problems, we have to focus on some new offence, is like exactly how our teenager behaved. Oh man, this is a tough one. I'm almost inclined to say, just let her read this post. You've worded your thoughts so well and respectful towards your wife, which shows how much you care for her, that I don't know what should have a higher chance to truly get the message across. It takes a lot to go and ask strangers on the internet for advice about things like this, and this really feels as if it's some sort of last resort option for you. I'm sorry, I don't have any better advice, but I wish you all the best. At this point, I think most of us are aware that AD presents differently in women than in men. A lot of adult women had it as children, and it was never diagnosed because instead of running around and acting out in school, we just stared out the window and quietly filled notebooks with doodles. So we learned various unhealthy ways of coping. She needs therapy. She clearly has issues with impulse control. She seems to be trapped in a bad loop where she's trying to prove she's capable by taking on a lot of things and ignoring her mental health. It's like trying to dig a hole in the sand while the tide is coming in. There are a lot of good suggestions here with how to deal with issues. Might be time for an ultimatum, though. Soon, this lifestyle of stress and business will catch up to her with physical issues like heart problems because she's not taking care of herself. Those are good reasons to push for treatment. Therapy is hard for people who don't want to face their problems. You do have to face the fact that you are the architect of your issues, and she's spent her whole life trying to be so awesome that no one ever notices. You don't have to reassure her or feel sorry for her. That is enabling and doesn't help anyone. I would start responding by verbalizing that the choice she made didn't result in a positive outcome. So how can you both troubleshoot this so that this doesn't happen again? And then continue to talk about it and check in on a daily basis. What is she doing to prevent those things from happening? What issues does she foresee? How can she avoid those? What happened last time in this situation? Why does she feel she needs to take on so much? All of these actions have underlying emotions and motivations. If you can figure out those underlying motivations, fear, anxiety, anger, etc., it can help form future decisions.